against trees, and in the middle, the officers are playing cards. I guess we have to teach them some ways of fighting a war. So we waited until the sun went down. We broke ourselves up into 3 columns. Marion had the center, I had the right, James had the left. We waited till about midnight. Marion draws his pistol, cocks it back. 1 shot, and in we come charging, howling like maniacs in Cherokee. They never stopped to even try to fight. They just got up and ran, all of them. Never once tried to take their muskets. They just ran off into the swamp, to include Tynes himself. We got a few of them, though, and their muskets, and their supplies, and their powder. Marion is still upset that we haven't got them yet. We haven't got Lyons. We haven't got Tynes. So we went back to our camp for a couple days, and we did find out where Tynes was. So he sends Captain Snipe and his troop. Not only in a couple days, he's up there in the high hills near Sumter's old territory. Not only did we capture Tynes, we captured 7 other officers and a justice of the peace and brought it back. This is not sitting while the British are losing their minds. How can we get away with this? Especially Colonel Turnbull, who's in charge of the new region. He's like, all right. He decided to play his ace. He calls in Tarleton. Now, Tarleton has been chasing Sumter up in the high country. He sends them down to come after Marion. Well, we found out from our network that Tarleton's coming for us. He's trying to lay a trap. So we avoided him. That really irritated Tarleton, the fact that we knew about his trap. So like Weems, he decided to make the whole locals pay. He only destroyed 30 plantations. But what he did, though, is he went over to the Richardson's place, to poor widow Richardson. I knew Colonel Richardson during the Anglo-Cherokee War, and he was a good officer, a good man, fought with us during the Snow Campaign. Tarleton and his legion shows up, demands that she makes him dinner. They dig up General Richardson's body and desecrate his grave. Then once that's all done, they take all their livestock, push it away. Now what he did know is we're hunting for him now. So at night he made sure he was in a tight perimeter every night as he moved away. Marion tried to get him into a trap, he would never take it. He tried to bait us into a trap, we would never take it. But now we're a little upset. That's not how you fight a war. You want to see how to fight a war? We'll show you. Now as we're getting later in the year, we're concerned is we're running out of food, we're running out of supply, we're running out of salt. We wanted to take Georgetown. For us, that would be such a morale booster. We could take Georgetown so we could really dig it in the British. It would crush their morale that we could take Georgetown. So we moved our base of operation to near the Ashton Plantation. From there, we started to do our reconnaissance of the area. We sent Peter Urey, who's now riding with us. He was to go take a look at the White Plantation. We sent another patrol going down Sandpit Road. Well, Urey runs into a bunch of loyalists killing cattle again. I heard he get into a little bit of a firefight with them. That fight's going back and forth. They got to the point that himself and one young lad are all by themselves, and here comes these horses, and he goes, "Are you friends?" And he goes, "Yes, we're friends of the king." Oops, time to get out of here. They're fighting it out. But we drove them away. What's unfortunate about the other patrol was Gabriel Marion was riding with him, Marion's nephew. Unfortunately, they ran right into a large group of loyalists, and they hit him hard. They knock a lot of them out of the saddle. Marion himself falls to the ground. From what we learned, they pummeled him with their muskets until he was unconscious. And then as they stood him up, a mulatto named Sweet walked right up to him, put his musket right up against his chest, full of nothing but buckshot, pulled the trigger. Yeah, it killed him. So close, it actually caught his clothes on fire. Needless to say, Marion was a little distraught that he lost his nephew. But us who served with Marion, we took it personal. We hunted and we found Sweet. We were bringing him back to face the justice. Unfortunately, one of our officers decided to do it himself. Rode up to Sweet, put a pistol right up to the guy's head and blew his brains out right there in the river. Unfortunately, while the intent was good, if you know Marion, he's a stickler for the rules. He's still a professional officer. Even though inside his heart hurt that the fact that his nephew was murdered gives our officers no right to murder this man, because now we're no better than the British. We're fighting ourselves. Reprimands this officer in public. This is not how we do it. But he was a little angry. And we waited. So now Turnbull doesn't know what to do. Tarleton failed at his mission. So he sends in Major McClarath and the 64th Regiment. They march into King Street and plant the color, daring us to come out. Nope. There's a lot more of them than us. We will pick our field to fight. We just waited. Information got to us that brand new recruits for the 7th Regiment were on their way from Charlestown to Camden. And they're marching on that same road heading towards Nelson's Ferry. That's a target. So normally we stay in a mall group. Marion calls out the rest of us, because that's the only way we can really survive. We have to stay in small groups. We can't operate like a large troop. No. He sends his men home to hide in plain sight, per se. Take care of your family. When I need you, I'll call you. And that's what we did. Only a few corps of us always stayed behind. We stayed small. We kept moving. That's why we never really got pretty. The only time we could really bathe is when it rained on us. We picked up what we could from the field. So now we saw a target of opportunity. He pulled 150 of us together, and we rode and we waited at a place called Halfway Swamp. Here they come. 200 fresh-faced volunteers on their way to the center, because actually, now we found out why we couldn't find Williams. He was no longer down here. He was in Camden. That's why we couldn't find him. So we caught him on the road. We hit the rear first, because that's only the 7th had the rear guard. The rest of it was the 64th trying to herd these cats, I guess is the expression of 200 fresh-faced volunteers. And we hit them hard, because not only are we have our guys armed with everything from rifles and shotguns and muskets, we had McCarty's rifles with us. They can reach out and touch somebody. And we start picking off their pickets. We pushed them into a field surrounded by a fence. They're in a pretty good perimeter. I mean, literally, the 64th are trying to push all these brand new recruits who had no idea what to do other than being scared and urinating in their breeches. They're pushing them back. They're trying to protect them. So we back off. Our riflemen, McCarty's riflemen, just sit there. What do you think that one is? Oh, I see it's about 200 yards. Yeah, I think you're right. Pop! Drop every single time. Eventually, we see a white flag come up over on their side. You know what this is all about. Ceasefire. Truce. Out comes Major McClarath himself. Marion goes, well, this should be interesting. We go out to see what he wants. Gentlemen, your way of fighting war is beneath us. You